Hyakkimaru is finally reunited with his family, and as is tradition for the series, it's an absolute bloodbath. Hyakkimaru just can't seem to catch a break in another episode of Dororo, a series that was definitely high with tension. Before I go any further with this review, I'm going to go ahead and put up a spoiler warning now. I'm also going to give a warning that this is going to be a very, very short review, way shorter than my typical ones, because I'm really short on time, so I just want to give my quick thoughts about this episode. This was the episode where Hyakkimaru finally got to meet his entire family. He'd already had a run-in with his brother Tahomaru, and at the end of the last episode, he finally meets his father Daigo. And of course, it doesn't go well at all, with Daigo essentially cursing his son and desperately trying to kill him, as he had all of his soldiers desperately try to attack him. Eventually, it all leads to a point where Hyakkimaru is reunited with his entire family at once, especially his mother. This was a moment which was absolutely hard-hitting. It's probably the lowest point in Hyakkimaru's story, as he's finally reunited with his mother. And what does she do? Well, she ends up committing suicide right in front of him. And the main reason for this, of course, is because she is just so incredibly torn, especially because both her son Tahomaru and Daigo desperately want to kill Hyakkimaru. Why do they want to do this? Because, well, the only way that their land is going to be prosperous and the people are going to be able to live in it is if Dororo dies. It's basically the age-old question: if you could kill someone to save someone else, would you do it? Except now it's on a much grander and crazier scale in this episode, and unfortunately it looks like Tahomaru is going to be going down that very same route. But not before we get a kick-ass duel between the two characters, which is incredibly exciting, if very short-lived. And of course, Hyakkimaru just completely whips his ass, not even paying attention when he sees his mother for the first time. He actually ends up just cutting his blade in half and just completely cutting his eye out of his face. It really shows that you don't want to fuck with this guy. He's blind, but he'll end up blinding you right back. We also get to see the return of that weird fox demon in this episode, which is also really awesome, getting to see Hyakkimaru battle against that. If anything, this episode had some fantastic animated sequences behind it, but most of it is just the depressing moment of seeing Hyakkimaru be reunited with his family and seeing Tahomaru decide that he's going to join his father, making that hard decision, knowing that if he wants to save his people and his land, he's going to have to kill his brother, a decision that he doesn't take lightly. Even Hyakkimaru's mother realizes that this is actually reality. She knows that in order for all of these people to live, her son is going to have to die, but it's something that she simply cannot live with, and she decides to die right there. In many ways, it's probably good that Hyakkimaru's eyesight has not fully returned, or maybe it would have returned in this episode, and that would have made it even more depressing if the first thing that he saw was his mother dying before his very eyes. It was really damned intense, to say the least, but really, this is just the calm before the storm. If this is the lowest point for Hyakkimaru, it can only really go up from here. If I could quote Harvey Dent from The Dark Knight, "The night is darkest just before the dawn, and the dawn is coming for Hyakkimaru. It's only a matter of time before eventually he gets his revenge against these people who have turned him into quite literally a sacrificial piece for their land." So, what's the rundown on this episode? So incredibly depressing, especially with Hyakkimaru's mother. I especially loved the symbolism right before her death when she actually had that statue of the halo that was sort of like surrounding him. It was a beautiful image, and it lets the viewer know that eventually he will be able to overcome all of these hardships, but there are still going to be many things in his way, and now it's going to be the brand new rivalry with his brother, Tahomaru, who again I think is one of the more developed characters of the series, and I have to admit I'm a little disappointed that he's basically going down the whole Darth Vader route with the fact that he's decided for the greater good of everything his brother is going to have to die. I was really hoping that he was going to be able to get rid of his hate and be a little different from his father, but in many ways he understands why he has to do it, and to be honest, it's a tough decision to actually make. I mean, to kill Hyakkimaru would mean to kill his very country and all of the people in it. It's not exactly a black and white evil kind of thing, and you can honestly sort of feel the tension with his character, as he fully embraces everything that is his father in this episode, yet still at the same time, still managing to resent him just a little bit. There's still hope for Tahomaru, and I can't wait to see what that's all going to be about. There's also the whole subplot with Dororo and that other kid, and to be honest, it just gets completely overshadowed by Hyakkimaru actually interacting with his family for the first time, which is handled so incredibly well. I really loved this one moment, too, about halfway through the episode, when Dororo is actually reassuring Hyakkimaru that he's going to be able to meet his family and to see his mother, and for just a split second you see him smile. It's moments like this that show the absolute humanity in a character who can barely, show any sort of personality, and it's moments like that that end up being just as powerful as any action scene that you're going to see in the show. Otherwise, this was a really strong episode which moved at a lightning pace and had some amazing imagery, some great war scenes, some demon battling, and a really great, super sad cliffhanger ending. This is basically the halfway point for the series, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go from here. I'm giving the episode a 5 out of 5. I'd love to get your thoughts about the episode. You can tell me all of them in the comment section below, and what you hope to see from the rest of Dororo. Thank you all for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down, baby.